Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigmar here and welcome back to another video. So I did this list at the start of the last year and there's significant changes in it. I mean, not that huge changes, but there's some characters that made their way into it that I think are worth talking about. I did want to update this, but first I wanted to wait until the release of Hawkman. But look, he's not gonna make it on the top 10, no matter how much I'm underestimating him. He's for sure not gonna make it in the top 10, and he's not gonna influence Black Adam's position. Yeah, spoilers, the legendary Black Adam will be in the top 10, though not too high. So a few mentions before I get into the list. This will be for league rates and soul rate performance. I don't care about the performance of those characters in Arena and Champions Arena, because in Arena and Champions Arena, to an extent Champions Arena, if you're not like in the highest tier possible, anything is going to work and you're going to build your teams for rates and soul rates and then also use them in Arena and Champions Arena, and not the other way around, because that's the effective way to do things. So if something is very good in Arena and Champions Arena, I will not care on this list. I will slightly care about the optimal working point of a character, that meaning how many resources you have to spend on them before they reach a point where they are actually very strong. Though it will not play a big part, maybe delimiting between each character if they're kind of close to the same tier. And I will be keeping in mind only free-to-play side of things. By free-to-play side of things, it means all the characters in the game. You can get every single character in the game without spending money, but some of them rely on pay-to-win artifacts, so we're not going to take into consideration any pay-to-win artifacts. But at the end of this video, I will make some mentions for the pay-to-win side of things. So it's not too much different, but there are some visible differences though. Also, at some points I will slot teams, not characters. I know this is a list about characters, but there's simply some characters that are useless without their counterparts. For example, Harley Quinn would be nowhere near the top 10 or top 20 characters without the help of Entangling Poison Ivy. But at the same time, Entangling Poison Ivy without Harley Quinn would not make it to the top 10. But together, they are going to make it to one of the top positions of top 10. So I'm going to keep that in mind where it is necessary. At the same time, I'm not going to slot Dr. Fate with Kim Flint's Sakuman, because while Kim Flint's Sakuman does benefit from Dr. Fate quite a decent amount, he still works without Dr. Fate. So hopefully I made that clear. So yeah, let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, we have Dr. Fate and Power Girl. They essentially do the same thing. Dr. Fate is a bit better because he's also reducing the defense of the opponent a bit, though this will not be too useful a lot of times. But -2 power bar cost for special abilities. This is something that I've said in the past, and I have pretty much kept my take on it. Will always be relevant. No matter what characters get added into the game, the power bar reduction will always be useful and will always be necessary. So I don't think those characters will ever fade out of relevance. You might get to points where you don't have to use both of them in a 6-fight cycle, but they are still going to be relevant. For example, I'm only using Dr. Fate, but it's kind of unfair to take Power Girl out of the equation because she basically does the same thing. It's just a little bit of a personal preference towards Dr. Fate. So those two guys are going to be there for you all the time because of their amazing supporting capacities. And this one is going to be one of your first support characters that you're going to use with Kim Flint's Sakuman to get yourself some cheaper specials. So I love those two characters, and I think they definitely do deserve and will deserve in the future as well a spot on the top 10 list. Coming in at number 9, we have two characters that kind of fill the same role and kind of have the same drawbacks. Mr. Freeze. This man is going to be kind of number 1, maybe number 2 for the free-to-play side of things, but I'll mention that later. But for the free-to-play side of things, since we got the artifact Puppet of Zatanna, he's actually going to be quite good for the free-to-play side of things. And in league raids, and now I'm going to put more emphasis on league raids as well, because we got just the new tier 9 and tier 10 league raids, this man with Puppet of Zatanna is going to be absolutely amazing spamming that second special. Manta also is going to be a very strong and a very reliable character in a lot of the ways that Mr. Freeze is, just will have somewhat different gameplay. And this man is very strong, he's got a passive that increases damage on basic attack hits, and if you pair him up plus Raven, you're going to get yourself, if they are built enough and strong enough and your artifacts are high level enough, you're going to have potential to get 2 billion damage. So those two characters are amazing, but the problem is, they are gonna require a lot of investment. There are characters that are legendary, are hard to get. Mr. Freeze is a bit easier if you get lucky with the drops from the on ice soul rates. and they are going to need their gears, which you need to open a chest for. And they are both very damn reliant on the star rating because they rely on passives to do damage. Same for Manta and Mr. Freeze, even though they do damage in different ways. Both of them need high star rating to do work. While they are amazing, and I love and appreciate both of them, they are gonna be a menace to get, to build, to level up. And the problem is, with the resources that you would spend to get the Manta to peak performance, you can get yourself like 4 other characters at 3 stars that are going to perform well from 3 stars that are going to be higher on the list than him. While they're both amazing and both very useful, they are not going to be a priority. And they don't really do the damage to justify how hard they are to get to that point, but still worth number 9. Coming in at number 8, and yet again I might be wrong about this one, I might change my opinion in the future, this guy might be stronger than I'm assuming, is gonna be Rule of Conduct Black Adam, and we're also gonna have another character number 8 because I think he fits kind of the same category. But first of all, about this man. It's got plenty of passives that do plenty of things, but the only thing that really seems to pull its weight is going to be the percentage health damage. The percentage hull damage is going to be useful anywhere at any point, and you're going to see this as a recurrent thing on this list. And this man is going to do very, very well for you at 3 stars, and he's actually the fastest character in the game to get all his percentage damage out of the way. So how this goes, you get this man gearless. You don't even need to get the gears, you get him in, you do this, and then you tag in our characters to do other stuff throughout the rest of the fight, and he's the fastest at getting there. The other parts of his kit seem a bit underwhelming, where they might get better, or I might change my opinion on them with time given. He might be so much better at higher star rating and with higher level artifacts, but for now, outside of the percentage hull damage and the bug on phase 1, which I'm obviously not gonna account for in this video because that's gonna be fixed where he can one-shots all the phase 1, he's not really gonna make it higher than number 8, but the percentage hull damage is going to be very, very reliable. Also on this note, something that I forgot to mention, I wanted to mention at the start, we're going to take things into consideration when you're fighting a little bit higher health opponents. Because percentage health damage is going to do more for you the higher health the opponent has. Now I'm not gonna be like, well, this man is going to be amazing, but from Heroic 6 onwards. This man is going to be amazing, but you'll feel the difference between him and characters that are not on this list or are not meta damage dealers from the point you get from Heroic 1 to Heroic 2 upwards. Until that point you might see similar performances to characters that would never be included on this list, but percentage health damage will scale the harder, the higher you go and the more you are in trouble, and obviously in higher tier league rates. That's something I wanted to mention. Next up we have Venom Blast. Kind of literally the same situation as Black Adam. Is gonna do a lot of things, but the only thing that he really seems to be good at is the percentage health damage that he's going to deal. And yes, he is in the same team sometimes with Batman the Drowned, who's gonna be a lot higher on this list, but I did not put them as a team because I don't feel like this man is essential. I don't have him on my secondary account. My Batman the Drowned does amazing on my main account. I don't always use him with Batman the Drowned. Maybe I was get the 3rd member of the Dark Metal team, this will change and you'll actually have to use all of them in the same team. But as it goes for now, even though he helps out Batman Drowned and it's not wrong to use him with Batman Drowned, he is not essential enough to the team to slot him into a higher position because of his team placement sometimes. But yeah, outside of the percentage of damage, it doesn't do much either. He's fast enough at applying it, but nothing more than that. Coming in at number 7, we have the entire Batman Ninja team, I mean the meta one. Batman Ninja Catwoman, Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd, Batman Ninja Robin. Those are going to be characters that are kind of stuck with each other. They're not going to perform well without the other, and Batman Ninja Catwoman is going to do no damage without Robin. But at the same time, Robin can't do much damage himself. Grodd is going to be there, and he's not the most mandatory thing in the world in this team, but he's going to be strong enough to warrant his position regardless, and he's going to be a very good addition to the team nevertheless. But yeah, Batman Ninja Catwoman herself doesn't have anything that would make her a good damage dealer, and if you don't put Robin in there, she ain't gonna do much. But at the same time, she's got a kit that's going to be kind of the best at exploiting Robin's passive, and Robin's passive that makes this team be so high ranked is going to be the lethal attack damage that he provides. Because that is going to highly boost the efficiency of Batman Ninja team. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that this team is going to be so much stronger at the lower levels of the soul rate, because this is not a percentage health damage reliant team. This is going to do raw damage. It's going to do kind of the same amounts of damage if you fight a character that has 2 billion health or a character that has 400 million health. So you're going to be as efficient at lower heroics with them and as efficient when you want to do cleanup fights with them. So that's another thing that makes them very strong. And they're going to be amazing early on with Puppet of Zatanna. That will get replaced eventually with Dark Melkarts as you get higher passive stats from the artifacts, but they are going to definitely have a lot of options, and they're going to be very strong and reliable. Coming in at number 6, we have Zatanna, and it's going to be yet another case of percentage hull damage. But not only that, she's going to first of all deal percentage hull damage, and she's also going to give Justice League Dark teammates some percentage hull damage. This is currently kind of bugged, but it kind of works. You have to deal the percentage hull damage with the Justice League Dark characters, which currently is only one, Elder Swamp Thing, before she deals this, or some of it, because if she gets to 10% of this 10% is gone, so you need to kind of do this first and then her percentage hull damage. But she's going to deal up to, if you have something, 40% health damage. And that's not the only thing. The other thing is going to be this passive, which is going to increase the damage of your teammates with each power bar stolen, making her a pretty good support character. Like, look, this is not gonna scale amazingly well with every single team in the game, but it's going to scale well with a lot of teams that are good, like Batman Drowns and League of Anarchy. So because of those two reasons, I think she is most definitely worth this place. By herself, she's not the best damage dealer out there, but she's going to be strong at supporting others and at dealing percentage health damage, so she's definitely worth the spot. Coming in at number 5, we have Kinflant Sakomen. You'll know him, you'll love him, you love to get him from the daily logins and the League store. This is going to be most likely the first damage dealer that everybody's going to get into their account, or at the very least the first efficient damage dealer. What's up with this dude? So he's got two things that are going for him, one more than the other. First of all, it's going to be the percentage health that he's able to deal on his special 2, which is going to make him amazing because of that. And on top of it, this is going to be percentage health damage that's on an ability, not a passive. What does that mean? It means that it's going to be able to be transitioned to the clones that you create with the Nora Snow Globe artifact, which is a free artifact you're gonna get. And I know this is the first time I'm kind of mentioning an artifact as a crucial part of a character, but it is. Nora Snow Globe artifact can triple the percentage hull damage that Kinflant Sakomen does if you play it right, and it's going to be amazing because of it. And even regardless of that, he's going to be a good damage dealer himself because of this passive that's going to constantly increase his damage when he's using his specials. And while this might not be the best thing in the game, it's going to be reliable, it's going to always be there for you, and if you have him maxed out with high level artifacts plus Raven, you're going to get some huge amounts of that damage out of that without the percentage hull damage even counting that much. So overall, an amazing character, a reliable character, one of the easiest characters to get on this list. Yeah, definitely worth number 5. Coming at number 4 is going to be Deathstroke, and some of you might get mad at me for putting him above Kinflant Sakomen because he's hard to get, like there's no doubt about it, he is hard to get, but you only need him at 3 stars because this is going to be yet again an ability with percentage hull damage. So the only thing this will scale with is the level of the ability. You don't need a higher star rating, mine is only 3 stars and will stay like that until he randomly drops me shards from his soul rate, I guess, because he's just amazing in that regard. And yet again, this is an ability, so it's going to scale with Nora Snow Globe. It does a bit more percentage hull damage than Kinflant Sakomen does in total, and the big upside is that he's not going to be susceptible to damage cap. Damage cap is going to be something in the game, some mechanic that is for the most part only going to hurt Kinflant Sakomen, where you're not going to be able to deal more damage than a percentage of the enemy's total health. But with this man, he's going to just keep going until he gets all of it done, and that's a thing for every single percentage health damage dealer in the game except for Kinflant Sakomen for some reason. It's going to be able to only have 3 third specials that deal percentage health damage, and after that it's gone, it's done. So that's a bit weird, sadly, but yeah, Deathstroke is going to be amazing for you, amazingly reliable, and is going to deal so much damage in every single situation. Coming in at number 3, League of Anarchy, and all the League of Anarchy. I'm going to show you Harley because she's kind of the main thing that you're going to see, because she's going to deal more damage to stun targets. and EPI is going to give her dot damage on basic attack hits. And the way it works, the way the weird calculations of Inner work is that you're going to get both the EPI dot damage, the crit damage, every value and every buff that this team receives is going to be counted towards the normal hits that they deal, and then the dot damage is going to benefit from higher normal hit damage, and then it's going to also get increased on top of it because it depends on normal damage that you deal. Not sure if I did a great job explaining it, but they're going to benefit a ton from damage buffs, and at the same time they're going to do a lot of damage. They are reliable. You can use them anywhere except for situations where there's gonna be dot immunity. Dot resistance is fine because Harley removes dot resistance, and Harley would be useless without Entangling Poison Ivy, so that's why she is also on this list. Entangling Poison Ivy is not strong enough without Harley to be on this list. And Joker's not something that you're going to use very often, but when there's a chance to use him and his passive that gives him damage with each character that dies in that fight is going to be useful, he really shines and outclasses her. So yeah, all three of them are going to be in the third spot. Coming in at number 2, we have Raven. Raven is going to buff stuff. Going to give you damage against targets. And this is, for some reason, the most broken modifier in the game. It's far better than attack, it's far better than total attack, it's far better than damage. It's damage against target. It's better than crit damage, or at the very least as honest as crit damage is. There's simply no better buff in the game than damage against target, and she's gonna provide it. Use it with League of Archie, you one-shot everything. Use it with Batman on the Drowned, you one-shot everything. Use it with Strong Influence Sakuman, you one-shot everything. Use her by herself. No, wait, that's for the pay to win side of things, but yeah, she can do a lot of damage by herself, but with the Bait Club interaction. But yeah, she's the best buffing character in the game that can make any team amazingly strong in kind of any situation, and that's why she is number 2. So it's later in the day, I got interrupted while recording the video, but we're back at it. It's warmer, I'm wearing a tank top now. So we have Batman on the Drowned. This is kind of the character that I've seen the most in the comments, in the sense of people saying, oh my god, Sigvald, I just got this character, she's so amazing with so little investment. She's absolutely insane. She's got a passive that's going to fill the arena with a hazard that's going to deal hazard dot damage, and hazard dot damage is very strong. She's gonna be able to increase her own damage and the damage of Venom Collapse, though that's not gonna be too much in the way that Venom Collapse can do with that buff, sadly. And she is going to work very well from very low star rating, granting you some amazing performance with very little investments. She is by far the strongest and the best character in Injustice Immobile. You can get her to do 2 billion damage with, I wouldn't say medium investment, but not high investment either. She's gonna get there, she's gonna deal a ton of damage if you play her well and you build her well. So yeah, by far the most amazing character. And the best part, it's a gold character, so that means she's got a gold chest that has an 8% chance to unlock her at 3 stars and gives you 160 shards each time. So kind of the easiest character and the strongest character at the same time. The easiest character to get and the strongest character at the same time. So yeah, that's about it for the top 10 list, but now we're gonna do a few mentions for the pay to win side of things, so if you wanna stick around for that, then please do so. So, pay to win mentions. First of all, Brainiac. Brainiac is amazingly strong at buffing legendary characters, but a lot of times they are not worth buffing, or if they are worth buffing without pay to win artifacts, they still don't get buffed that much to warrant a spot for Brainiac on that list. But if you're on the pay to win side of things and you got stuff like the Joker as Batarangs or Beta Club, Brainiac is going to be definitely in the top 10 characters. Something else is that Mr. Freeze is going to do better for the pay-to-win side of things. He's most likely the best character in the game at using the Beta Club. And Raven is going to be the best damage dealer in the game if you pair her up with Brainiac. And also Classic Wonder Woman is going to be so much more useful because when you're using Beta Club or other artifacts that are not Dark Metal cards, that crit damage will be definitely worth it. Though she might be stronger, as we will see, because the Crown of Conduct might be now the artifact that we'll use on all the damage dealers, and the Batman Ninja team will do much better with pay-to-win artifacts like Joker as Batarangs or Beta Club. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Thanks yet again so much for watching. Like it if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, let me know in the comments if you do agree with my list and what's your opinion, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!